So that's what it sounds like normal. That is patch 54, which is synth brass. Now I'm going to add some grit. Just a little bit of grit. We engage our grit switch. No, I'm just kidding. That wasn't it. Alright, no, but for real. Now we will. Alright, here's our tone. Synth brass. Alright, now our grit is engaged. Notice the difference? Now notice when you have, when you try to play a chord, it doesn't harmonize, for lack of a better term, as well as it did before. Listen. See what I mean? There is that grittiness to it. It's not a distortion. I mean, you can call it a distortion, but it's like, we have overdrive, we have distortion, we have fuzz. This is like its own thing. That's why I call it grit, because it's kind of like a grit. It just adds a grittiness to it. Now, it's not turning it, so what people are like, well, maybe you're making it lo-fi. No, it's not lo-fi. It's not that. I don't know what it is exactly. The only thing I can describe it as is grit. And what's weird about the grit switch is it doesn't affect every tone. You see, some tones, when you put on the grit, it just trashes it. It doesn't even work. It doesn't come on. Some of them just become like little crackling noises. Most of them don't work with the grit switch, and some just sound horrible. But the synth brass, it just sounds really good with a grit. I mean, as long as you're playing it monophonically, But if you play it with a chord, it's just not as good, I mean, it's okay. It's kind of just. See, the chords just don't sound that good on grit. But if you play it monophonically, it's kind of interesting. See, pretty interesting with the grit. Now, let's just do a brief, we're going to go through all the keys very simply. I mean, just to show you what the grit sounds like comparatively to the original tone. So we're going to go through all the keys with grit, and then we're going to turn it off and go back to normal. Now the grit is off and we're back to our normal sound. Let's do the same thing again. Very interesting, I think. And I do apologize for not having this directly in, and you're hearing it through the speakers, but I am giving you a kind of a wide palette. I'm letting you hear it through the keyboard speaker as well as through a Yamaha GA10 amp at the same exact time. So it balloons those kind of sounds together, and Well, it sounds about the same through it. You know what I mean? It's not like I have like a distortion on anything else. No, nothing's changed. You know, bass and treble are set at midway on the amp. So yeah. Maybe you thought this was interesting, but yeah, there's some grit hiding inside of your Casio SA65. If you have one of those, well, you should add some grit to it. It's just hooking up 2 points in there together, add a little switch, and boom, you got your grit. So I hope you liked that, thought that was interesting. You know, tell me what you think. Do you think it's more like a distortion? Do you think it's more like a overdrive? Do you think it's more like a fuzz? What do you think? Because it didn't, to me, it didn't seem like any of those. It seemed like its own kind of thing. And the fact that it only works with some patches, I wonder what exactly is going on in there. But anyways, yeah, I hope you thought that was interesting. I'm in the midst of kind of reorganizing my setup in here. I'm going to try to get it more, I don't know, just, what do you call it? Set up in a way that's easier to record. It's kind of just all spread out right now. It's kind of inconvenient. So I'm going to be spending the next few days rearranging, and I'm going to build that Akai this week. That's going to be cool. So yeah. Well, yeah, stay tuned, and yeah. Oh yeah, and I don't know if you noticed it, but in another video I did mention that I'm going to be changing the channel name now. When I change it, I'm going to leave the photo the same for a little while, so people will know that it's me, but eventually the photo will change too. But I do have a more broader name that's gonna cover more bases, because my name now kind of limits me to synths, really. But I kind of want to do stuff with, synths, guitar pedals, other electronic gear. I just don't want to be limited to just that. Or I don't want people to think that's all they're gonna get. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope you guys like the new name. I think it's pretty cool. It is longer. I will say it's longer, but yeah. Also, I watched this video talking about, what people do on their channels that's wrong and makes people run away. So I'm going to try to take that advice, not have these long-winded discussions, not talk about what I did wrong, blah, 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 all that garbage, because I know you don't want to hear that anyways. So from now on, you're not going to really hear none of that garbage. You're just going to get the content, and yeah. I'm going to, should buy the camera sometime soon. Just gotta do a little research. But yeah, when the name change does come, I'm gonna drop a bunch of videos at once, or within a short period of time. Until then, I'm not gonna add any more stuff, just to be warned. It shouldn't be that long though until I drop all that content. But I want to get. I don't care about being some rich, famous, or big YouTuber. You know what I mean? I just want to try to focus the channel more and give you guys more stuff that you'd actually want to watch, not just garbage, random shite that doesn't even, make sense when what you're getting. You might sign up for one video and find all kind of random stuff that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to try to make the channel make more sense. So yeah. Oh yeah, and it said don't make videos like this as one of the things I warned against. So I'm not going to do that either. But yeah. Hope you thought that grit was interesting. I think I took a picture of how to hook up the grit. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. If you have a Casio SA65, I can add grit to it for you. All you have to do is in 5 easy payments of $18.99. No, but if you have specifically, a Casio SA65, I can add the grit switch to it for you for, I'm not going to be, so I can mod it for you for, $10. I'll put the grit switch on there for you. If you just happen to have a Casio SA65, and you just happen to want the grit, then I will add it for you. But be warned, it only affects some tones, and it's only usable on some tones. But it is an interesting effect that I don't know exactly what it's doing, but you're getting something from the inside of the keyboard. Ugh. Sorry. But anyways, one last thing. This is going to be the last video where you guys are going to hear that, what do you call it? Fan in the background. I didn't want to turn it off because it's been off all day and it's just freezing cold, so I have to keep the heat on so I don't freeze. But yeah. No grit. Grit. Same little three keys. Interesting, isn't it? And now I can add some actual, a little bit of drive from my amp with the grit already, and let's hear that. Oh yeah, you gotta turn it up. Interesting. Ooh, that's just gnarly. Hear it? I turn off that drive. Just the grit. Woo! Got loud. Woo! Alright, whatever. This has been enough long-winded talking. I'm sorry to bore you to death, but yeah, I just want y'all to be prepared for the name change. And to be prepared for the more focused content. And I'm going to try to make the content higher quality with a nice video camera and with a nice setup and less random garbage you do not care about, okay? I don't even know I'm talking dumb like this. I just had to... At work, there's a wedding today, so I was serving at a wedding. Oh my god, it was crazy. But anyways, that's the grit. Like I said, if you want the grit, I can do it for you for $10, and you just send that exact keyboard here. You have to pay the shipping. Or if you want the grit and you have one yourself, you want to do it yourself, I can tell you how to do it. I'll just have to open up the keyboard. But anyways, see y'all next time. Boonga boonga. I don't know. What's left to say? What's left to say? Well, maybe I'll give y'all a little bit of a rundown of the content that's gonna bombard you all once I get the new camera and once I have the name change and once I put out all the content like I said I will. It's gonna be the Akai, which is gonna be great. I'm actually off. This is crazy. I'm off for 6 days of work starting tomorrow. So I have time to do the Akai. I'm gonna do that. Only one person voted on my which effect pedal to mod next. Come on, people, you gotta vote. But yeah, only one person voted. It was Chickmunk Jones, and Chickmunk Jones, check out his channel, it's pretty cool. But Chickmunk Jones said, mod the DoD FX42B bass EQ, which I think is gonna be weird because I don't really know many people who mod EQ pedals. So we're gonna try it. I've never modded an EQ pedal personally, so it's gonna be a learning experience. We're gonna see how we get. We're gonna see what we get. So yeah. FX42B bass EQ mod the Akai. Now that Akai is gonna be great. Now I know I was gonna put the mods at the bottom, but it's gonna be so dumb. I'm really tempted to build a case for it. It's just gonna be crazy. Whatever it's gonna be insane. But I'm gonna do that Akai because it's gonna transform that Akai. It's probably the coolest mods I've actually came up for something. Like, it was really risky when I was poking around that thing because I could have ruined the whole thing. But I found a lot with it. It's actually a very easily modified keyboard. So I see in the future Akai Timberwolves getting modded. It's gonna be a thing because they're so limited and they're so simple that people aren't. And they're going to be so cheap, people aren't going to be afraid to just poke around in them. It's cool because
See, this is an interesting thing. I want to know your opinion. People say, oh my god, circuit bending analog synths is so much more riskier. I don't understand how it is more riskier because, well, I know it's not the same thing, but when I've modified analog pedals, it's much, much easier. And this being the first, well, okay. I also tried to modify, well, I didn't modify it, but I tested out some mods on the analog synth inside my Orbit 2 organ. I got some cool stuff out of that too. But not cool enough to actually like do the mod for it, just interesting. Because that it has multiple boards for each set of like 3 or 4 keys, which is really weird. And it doesn't have the same points of contact for each keys, so the mods could only be per a few keys. So it's kind of weird, kind of useless, honestly. So that's why I won't mod that. But the Akai, each voice is identical, so I can add the exact same mods to each of the 4 voices. And I'm going to be adding 11 mods to each voice. That's going to be 44 patch points. And everyone uses those, 1/8 inch or 0.35 millimeters, I think. I don't know. I might be wrong on that part, but those tiny patch points, the ones that are typically used in modular, typically used in semi-modular synths. But back in the day, they used 1/4 inch. And I don't know, I just like using 1/4 inch because it's just so much beefier and just like in your face. Like, look at these chords. It looks so steampunkish. I mean, it's not steampunkish, but having those big, bigger wires looks cooler than the thin ones. Just look like spaghetti going everywhere. The thicker ones look like this is a serious like gadget or something. I don't know. Without being too scientific about it. I know some people use RCA, but I don't know. I never tried using RCA. Maybe I should. I think it'd be cheaper. But yeah, I could buy the cheapest I can buy cords that are 1/4 inch patch cables are like $2 each. That's the cheapest. And I'm gonna need, since there's 44 patch points total, that's a total of possibility of 22 at once. So I'm gonna need 22 cables. So that's gonna be $44 worth. That's insane. And I know you're thinking, well, you're not going to probably have everything hooked up at once. Yes, I know, but I got to show you guys what it looks like with everything hooked up at once. You know what I mean? Maybe I won't, though. Maybe that's just too over the top. 22 cables. Maybe I'll order 10 cables or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I can use my ones I have for my drum machine. That'll work. But anyways, what else? I got a few home keyboards I'm gonna mod too, and a few more distortion. A few more effect pedals. I got that Rocktek distortion. I got that Behringer compressor sustainer. I got a pedal I think someone else wants me to modify for them, so I'm gonna do that. Now that pedal will drop. If that guy actually wants me to mod that pedal for him, I'm going to drop that video before the other stuff because I want him to be able to see it in action. So besides that video, there won't be any more until the other content drops. But yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming. And the channel's going to be more focused. Try to be better content coming forward. And the new name's going to be cool. I don't know when I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the name once I upload all that content. Like, right before I upload that stuff, once you see that name change, that means this content's about to come. Alright, peace, guys. This is already 20 minutes. You just hear me bamble. You probably some of y'all unsubscribed just hearing this garbage. But, yeah. We're getting, I guess, closer to 200 subs every day. I have a little something planned for 200 subs. Nothing that special, but yeah. See you guys, and check out the other videos if you haven't.